Welcome to Inside the Firm, a podcast dedicated to small business owners and hosted by entrepreneurs, Alex Gore and Lance Cayko. Each week, they take you on their journey of how to start, run, and grow a business by bringing you inside their architecture and real estate development firm. Get a behind-the-scenes tour of how these business leaders manage their clients and foster company culture while creating new and innovative projects. And now your hosts, Alex Gore and Lance Cayko.
The time has come for your firm to begin gathering product and material information for its next project. Let's say you're tasked with finding the top gas fireplace manufacturers, and they need to have CAD, BIM, and specifications. Wouldn't it be nice if there was a search engine that showed you who has the data you need? There is. And it's arccat.com, the #1 most used website for finding building product information. Search for a product or even a CSI section and get a list of manufacturers and the data they offer. Even better, you can download all that technical data for free. You don't even have to register to use ArcCat. Save your firm time, money, and frustration and go to arccat.com to start building better content today. That's ARCAT.com. arccat.com. And right after you head to arccat.com, we encourage all Inside the Firm listeners and their firms to head over to dell.com/inside the firm. Did you know that Inside the Firm listeners and their firms are eligible for valuable discounts on Dell technology and product and services? That's right. Visit dell.com/inside the firm and select the technology you need to fuel your business. You can also email our program manager, Alicia Bowling, with any questions or concerns at alicia.bowling. That's ALICIA.BOWLING at dell.com. Or call the Dell team at 1-800-757-8442, and your Dell Tech Advisor will assist in placing your order and applying your member discount. Please identify yourself as an Inside the Firm listener and provide your member ID number 53001570479 during the call. Again, that's 53001570479 during the call. Welcome to Inside the Firm.
So it's Friday morning. I get text from Lance Cayko at like probably 4:30, which is fine because I was actually up getting my clothes on, ready to come in the job site, and he's texting me fart jokes. I'm like, that's totally legit.
Poop jokes.
I get it. It's 4:30 in the morning.
Coffee.
I'm game. Then he calls me, and I'm like, I'm gonna text him back saying like, you can't call me at 4:30 in the morning. I know you're excited about your fart jokes, and that you're up and that you've already been working, but you can't do it. And then you text
Beat Jocko,
and you say the sprinklers went off. So I go downstairs, call you back, and you're like, holy shit, 111, the sprinklers went off. And I said, call the fire department. I'll be right there.
So I called the fire department, and good old boys came. Right before I called the fire department, though, obviously I went into. I'll back up a little bit. That's Al's.
That's my story.
Al,
that's my Friday morning.
That's Al's. Getting into it. What it was I got up at 4 because I wanted to get a jump on the day. I just wanted to get a jump on everybody. I went to Walmart. I bought a headlamp. I was ready to go. It doesn't get light around here until about 6 now. And I was just like, I'm gonna before the guys even get here, I'm gonna have so much accomplished. Because once the subs gets on site, then the questions start, and then it just all falls apart if you're gonna actually self-perform anything.
Yep.
So I got to this job site, was sitting in my truck, just sipping some coffee, texting out fart jokes, and then I opened the door, and I heard beep beep, beep beep. I was like, "What the hell?" It sounds like the alarm. It sounds like a fire alarm. And a couple days before that, the fire alarm the smoke alarms had went off in our unit because the painter was spraying, and apparently, if there's enough humidity in the air, they'll go off. So I thought, well, maybe they just got tripped somehow. It's new construction. All the kinks haven't been worked out yet.
No worries. I'll text Al some fart jokes.
I'll text Al some fart jokes. And so I was like, but I better go check it out, obviously. So I go to Unit 111, which is a prime unit. It's the profit unit. And I open the door, and I'm not joking out. Like, I pretty much fell. Like, I don't remember it all, but I know that I couldn't breathe, and I almost, like, just fainted.
Because of the humidity or because of
the
raining?
Shock. Because of the
because
shock.
It was raining.
Because of the shock. Because I know how thin the margins are on this project and how close we are to really, really hurting ourselves and how big of a risk this is. And when I saw that, when I opened it, I saw a literal rainforest. I mean, the steam came out of the door. It was just one of the most... It was absolutely one of the most... It was like a divorce. And I've been divorced. It was like a custody battle, and I've been through a custody battle. It's that kind of a shocking... It's like if you...
It's like, hey, Lance, I cheated on you.
Yeah. It's like if you find out your wife cheats on you. I'm serious. It was so shocking. So then I called Al. I called the fire department, ran into the unit, and I'm not joking. It was just solid water coming down. So much water that I thought it had to be the sprinklers.
Right.
So I shut off the water, shut off the whole electrical panel. The fire department came, and they said, I was like all upset. I even called my mom, like just in a panic, just like I'm like we're ruined, we are ruined. And so then I walk the unit with the fire department up and down all floors. It's still raining. I mean, it's just soaking in there. Mm-hmm. Can't even imagine how big of a disaster it is. And we looked at all the sprinkler heads, and there was none of them burst. And then Al came. We looked right. Again. We're looking
I'm asking questions. It's so hot. It's so hot.
God, it was like a rainforest.
And we don't know what's happening at this point. And I go, are you sure there's not like a fire in the floor? And they said, with our radar gun or whatever it's called.
Like a heat sensor camera?
Yeah. No, it's not that hot. And you'd see smoke. I was like, that's smart. Of course you'd see smoke. And he finally goes, it's hottest right above the kitchen. And the third level was soaked. The kitchen's on the second level. But above the floor of the third level, it's all fine. So then I'm like, well, let's go upstairs. And he's pointing his gun around. And we're in the upstairs bathroom. And the countertop is so hot. And I'm like, is it hot here?
And I checked the water heaters, too. They're at 120. They shouldn't be. Oh, too hot. Yeah. Should be at like 110. You're gonna hurt yourself.
Yeah,
you should turn them down.
And he's like, yeah, it's super hot there. So I opened the cabinet drawers.
But before that, when they were shining around the heat gun.
Yep.
So I don't know if Al's this way, but I'm always this way, where I'm like, is it my fault? Like, I'm always looking for is it my fault?
Because when he said where it was hot downstairs, it was where you put a cabinet, so you thought it was you.
Yeah, I hung all the cabinets. It's one of the things we self-performed. And I was like, oh, fuck.
Was it? Yeah.
Oh, my God.
So
I was just like, no. Because we've already, and the thing that everybody should know about this is that we have pushed our buyers back. We had to push them back one more time. This is like 7 delays. Part of it is us just being rookies. And part of it is honestly acts of God. If you listen, I don't know what episode it was. Maybe it was Jocko was wrong or something like that. But like the rain, the tightness of the site, and the snow, and every time we have a very critical path sub coming in to do something like the road, like the underground plumbing, like the stucco, like they're going to come on Labor Day weekend, they don't show up, etc., etc. We've missed those critical paths, and it literally spirals into weeks delays.
Yep.
So we already have buyers that we think they're at their end of their rope.
They're mad at us.
They hate us. We're at the end of our rope. We just like, we got to get to the finish line. And then to see that happen, I was just like devastation.
Yep. So then we open the cabinet drawer, and there's a cut in the drywall.
Like, imagine looking at a fresh piece of drywall, and there's a crescent moon and you can tell it's been eroded.
Yep. So we figure that that's where a fitting malfunctioned or wasn't put together properly, and it was just shooting hot water because it was on the hot side.
And the water's off at this point, so we don't know if that's what it was.
Yeah, we're not gonna turn it.
If we turn the water back on, okay.
Right. So we figure that out.
And this all happened overnight because we walk the site every day at 5 or 6, whenever it's quitting time and everybody's gone. One of us walks the site up and down each room.
Yep.
Now we just shut off the water.
Yep.
But
so then
nothing was happening, and so it had to happen overnight.
Yep. The fire department says, we all kind of agree that that's probably it. So they leave. And then we start, me and you. It's probably like 5:30 at the most.
5.
Yeah.
I was actually blown away that Al was up that early. But I guess we're both just insane early risers.
Well, I go to the office before work.
I know you do.
Yeah. But then we come up with a list. I can't remember who called who, but it was like, okay, we have to call insurance. We have to call the plumbers. We have to call. There was like 3 or 4 people, and the critical path was the plumbers. So probably around 6:37, one of the plumbers comes. He must live around here because he hasn't been on.
He's real close.
He hasn't been on our job site forever, and we walk him straight up to the unit, and he like actually touches the stuff. I'm like, don't touch it, and he touches it, and the line that came in right on the hot water like just came out. Like that's obviously it, right? So they kind of established that and they know who installed it. They think they know who installed it. Let's just put it that way, right? On their team. And then they immediately said like, oh, we need to get a remediation team out here. So they call their insurance. They call their remediation team. And it dies down for a second. And then I have one thought. This is probably like a half hour later or something like that. I go, holy shit. Like, and I text Travis, and I think you're probably on the text, like, shouldn't we shut off all the water? Like, in all these buildings, like, right now? And they're like, yes. And then I go, if I was a buyer of this other unit, and that has the same fitting as my fitting, like, even if you check it, like, I don't believe it. I go, there has to be another level up. And there is another level up of fitting. I go, we're replacing all of them right now. And they did it. Like, the plumbers were...
They lost the day. I mean, because that's what they did. They're going to have to make it up.
Yep.
But they ran around the rest of the job site all day with their heads down.
Yep. Fixing things.
Fixing stuff.
Exchanging things. And then... But, okay, this goes... Then my head spins to, holy cow. All the fire alarms are connected together. We have to have finished product, finished floors, finished walls on everything, or else we can't pass.
We can't CO. That's the way the city we operate in works. We have 2 buildings, a triplex and a sixplex, and it's a campus system, meaning the home run goes to our commercial space, and then everything's on its on that circuit.
Yeah.
So if we're not finished on all every single unit, we're screwed. So how are we supposed to do that, right?
Yep. So Lance is getting a hold of our insurance, and then I'm trying to get a hold of our fire inspector, but he's all busy. Hopefully he will come out Monday, which is tomorrow. And then I'm driving around like I was gonna pick up something stupid like rocks or mulch or something like that. And I'm like, wait, I'm just gonna drive to the captain, like the fire captain herself, and just walk in and try to get a meeting, and which I do. And they're gonna work with us, and she wants to talk to the head building official, and we're just kind of gonna isolate that unit. And then she's, the alarms still need to work, the sprinklers still need to work. So then, I called those guys and said, we got to check this out Monday. It's not even Monday yet. So like Lance and I just continued to work like the weekend. Like this time.
Yeah. So I don't know what the lesson is. Well, there's one big lesson. I made sure when I was signing contracts with everybody that they had their own insurance. And then that's one thing, absolutely. And we had insurance. We have our own level of insurance. If you're doing condos like we are, which everybody says don't do, well, here we are. Have another level of insurance. But thank God they just ran right at it, and they owned it, and they filed their own claim. and we're not having to use our builder's risk. And the thing that I think is going to be interesting as it folds out, and maybe as it unfolds, is that how the insurance company then looks at us as from a developer standpoint. If we get some kind of compensation for potentially losing the whole project because one unit goes down, the interest we have to carry. We've been in touch with we called our bank yesterday. So today is Sunday, by the way, if you haven't noticed. Like we're out here working crazy hours. I was out here till 8 p.m. last night, 9 p.m. To see what they say, because they might. We talked to our bank on Saturday, and they said, "Yeah, we there's definitely something there. You guys are at a loss. You guys are at some kind of loss. You have to get compensated in some way."
And I mean, there's a couple lessons. One, we were at lunch on Friday, and we told all of our guys about everything. And I said, we should make sure that we have threaded fittings instead of what they used before, right? And then I was like, Gresh is our BIM guy. Put that in the note on the page. But that's too nuanced. Like, I know that you're in the car or something, you're not taking notes about threaded plumbing, general notes. But the other one is then what Lance was talking about. Like, we're going to have a phone call with our lawyer, and we're not
on Monday
suing the plumber or anything like that.
I think they knew better. I think that's why they ran right at it, Al.
Yeah.
To be frank, is I think they go, this is a lawsuit. If we don't, just own it.
Right. But exactly what you're talking about is like, what if that does? This is where the financial pressure comes on us. If this delays the project, or if this loses us another buyer, we can't pay back our loan. If we can't pay back our loan, then we either need to hopefully have them extend it, or but it depends on how many people don't if we can't close enough. If we can't close enough in time, then the interest rate on that loan is so high because it's a multi-unit project that it's months from just losing all cash reserves.
Yeah.
And we do have cash reserves, but when you borrow $2.5 million, you got a lot of interest.
It's a lot of interest. Yep.
Yeah.
It's actually $2 million, but yeah.
Well, it's up to 2.475.
Yeah. It's a lot of interest.
It's a lot of there.
But
we
that's
go.
it's at
So have insurance, have threaded fittings. You're welcome. Run out of product.
I don't know. There's so many lessons. Jeez, it's tough. I don't know what else to say. It's just devastation. I had actually pulled up before we started talking.
It's not the first to happen to us. I was talking to the Home Depot guy. He's like, yeah, when I was a contractor, similar stories. So if it happens to you, know that the people that are coming to the remediation, they're pros at it. They've done this before.
It's incredible how polite they are, how on the ball they are.
Yep. Insurance people, who knows? We'll let you know. But all of this made sense to them, because they even talked about that buyer who we might lose, maybe we have to pay their rent for a while, which seems logical. We don't know how accommodating they're going to be or not. We'll keep you posted. But to us, this is very new. But there's a whole world out there where it's this is their daily job.
Even the bank said this has happened before to them on certain projects.
I missed that, but yeah.
Well, but yeah, I pulled up. I actually pulled up the. So this happened on Friday night, or Friday
morning.
Friday morning. So that took up a lot of time on Friday. You can imagine having to go meet with the insurance adjuster and
so many phone calls.
So many phone calls. And then on Monday we're gonna have to I need to have, so our framers are coming. But they might have to redo some framing. We have to put together a whole new estimate on what it's going to take to redo the project, or to redo that interior, because a lot of it's going to have to be gutted. You can imagine.
I think the plywood floor is shot. I think they're going to say that it's not. But if
there's so much water,
that rain,
so much
it's gonna
water,
splinter. That's the fight that I'm dreading, when they go, oh yeah, all you need to do is replace some drywall. Really? That's all we need to do?
I think it's a full gut. In my world, it's a full gut.
Yeah.
And the silver lining if there is a silver lining in it, there's two parts to that. One is if we can actually not have that buyer anymore. What's nice about that is we can have a sale next year. The income will be split into 2 different years. The tax burden will be less.
That means we got to sell our unit this year, which we weren't planning on.
Yep. The sales price will be higher, not a lot. But then we can actually say, like, look, here's the contractor fee, which we've never had a contractor fee. It was always just we eat the proceeds at the end. There's a supervisor fee. There's actually carpenter fees because we self-perform the doors, the trim, the cabinetry, all of the accessory crap like mirrors, just dumb stuff like that. Mm-hmm. There's that caveat, and then there's honestly, if we got compensated as developers, I would feel good. That would feel good.
Yeah.
And then I guess just having it happen to you. If there's got to be a rhyme and the reason for it. Here's what's weird, okay? The weirdest part about it is, the part that I didn't talk about was, this particular buyer insisted on that my wife, who's the realtor, told them, you're getting water. She sold the unit as, oh yeah, they're doing waterfall countertops. It's like, and we've never had it in the renderings. We've never had it.
No.
We've never had.
I was pissed. And then I looked in the renderings, and they're in the renderings. So then I gave up immediately. I was like, our fault.
They're not, though.
They're not in that rendering. They are in this rendering. Or at least one of them. It might have been an early one that I just saw on my stupid phone.
No, it's not that. It looks like it is. It's just that the countertop goes right to the edge of the. There's no overhang. That's the difference. I promise you.
Oh, okay.
Because it's a fat wall. That's not real.
Yeah.
But they have a witness, and it's weird. These real estate deals are weird. I think that's one of the things I'm finding is like, what? He said, she said, and you think, and like, it's all subjective, and like, how do you work it out? You're trying to keep people happy. It's really weird. I don't know. But yeah, so like, if there's any, like, there's always something you get out of experiences, right? Some kind of knowledge you're supposed to get out of this thing. So I'm just trying to find, like, what is the lesson here? Like, what is the purpose for it? Oh, here's what I was going. So this waterfall. Insisted on this waterfall countertop. So I'm being proactive and just going, screw it. We're going to give them a waterfall countertop. We're going to slap on the sides. And I was emailing them back and forth.
News to me.
Well,
which is fine.
I think I copied you on the email.
I'm sure, but there was a lot going on that morning.
We didn't fully concede or anything like that. I was just looking into.
No, this is what you said. You said, okay, we'll give them, like, let's say $1,200 or something like that. And then they're like, no, we want it. And then you're like, okay, let me get an estimate for how much a waterfall would be.
Yeah.
That's what you said.
Yeah. It wasn't fully conceding. It was, we were going to pay $1,500 of their closing costs. And then I emailed our countertop guy, and just to get an estimate, because I was like, what? There's no way it would cost $1,500 to literally cut the ends of the countertop that's there, slap on 2 pieces on the side, and call it a waterfall countertop. Because that counts. That counts.
Well, because you just described what a waterfall countertop is.
So, don't go chasing waterfalls. You know what I mean? Like that's what I don't. That's what's so eerie. I think on one of the earliest episodes of, I can't remember, Inside the Firm. It was the episode where we both finished reading the book that Nick gave us, The Carpenter. And we talked about the woo-woo, and that's what freaks me out about the whole thing. Is I'm like, oh man, it was that I think it was supposed to flood in the weirdest way,
which is weird. But I'll give you another kind of lesson. I wanted our firm. No, Lance wanted our firm out here months ago.
I begged.
Months ago.
Alex knows the exact text.
Yep.
Because I won't let him forget it. And I told him, look, I'm suffocating out here.
Yep.
I need help. Because it was just me. And to give Alex some credit on why we didn't send people out is like,
I had 2 massive
giant projects, which funded a lot of this. I mean, it did.
Yep. So then I get out here with my guys, and then Lance is being Carpenter Lance, which is what we need him to be. And then he's harassing me last week, like, we need to send guys back. And I'm like, no, No, we don't. No, we don't. There's a huge list. And then, when was it? Saturday. I think I was running around getting stuff. And then you're like, oh, we need more than just the guys. We need your old man.
My dad.
And my old man.
Yep.
And then I was like, do we? And then
I told him is I go, it's like we're in jail. It's like we put ourselves in jail and they have to come bail us out. It's like when you call your mom and dad when you're in juvenile and you get in trouble and you have to get them. They have to help you.
Yeah, but it was such a hard decision a day ago. These days seem pretty long to me right now. But now in retrospect, like it seems like they're both kind of retired. I know your dad isn't retired.
He's
but
half retired.
He's
half retired.
He's half.
No.
Retired.
When I called him, he goes, I suppose. I mean, I don't got anything lined up for a couple weeks. I can come down.
Exactly.
And then he called me last night. He's like, yeah, okay. What kind of tools do I need? I'm like, well, you're gonna be playing Finish, man. Just,
yep.
And my dad can do. So can Al's dad. Like any kind of handyman stuff.
Yeah,
they can handle
a little bit more experience. My dad can figure it out.
He'll figure it out.
He hasn't done it where your dad has done it before.
Yeah.
Right. So then I call my dad. He's coming down. He's bringing his truck. He's bringing his tools. But then, like, he's talking to my uncle, and my uncle's also retired too. And he's like, I'm coming out. Yeah, I'm coming out too. He's a boat captain, stuff like that.
He's been sitting in his house too long, supposedly.
Oh, he's been sitting in the house for 5 months.
So he wants to come bail out his nephew.
Yeah, exactly. and I was all like, no, I don't, like that's too much. And then I think of like, I don't know. I feel like that's what we'll be doing in 20, 30 years. You know what I mean? Like these kids will be calling us, and I'll be like, I don't got anything.
There
to
you
do.
go. It reminded me. It really. Well, again, so like I said before a little bit ago was that opening that door and knowing the ramifications of what that means for the project this year. Well, just in general. It's like as devastating as a divorce. It's as devastating as maybe losing your children in a custody battle. It's devastating as a fire.
It was hard enough before this.
It was hard enough before this. So it was that devastating. It felt like all of those things that I've been through a lot of those. And then I thought, oh yeah, but then you do anything for your kids. Like you do anything for your kids. That's why I will sacrifice my body for the kids. Like I will not get new clothes because the kids need new clothes. This is when I was broke. I would just like one pair a year, type of shoes. Like just do anything for those kids. So that's why I didn't feel like I was just like I need my dad. You need your dad. We need our dads. We got to have there's nothing. I don't think there's anything. I'm not ashamed to admit it. I think it's just there's a certain point you just gotta ask for help.
You gotta call in the big guns.
Call in the big guns. The big old guns for sure. Yeah.
So
Alex has a 6-page list that I'm looking at right now in a garage of shit we got to do. Shit everybody's got to do.
In 1 week.
1 week.
Yep. So a page a day. Holy shit. Oh, man. A page a day? Well, there are, the plumbers, there's probably 6 groups on there.
Exactly.
So it's 1 page a week per the group.
Because we are calling for final inspections on the November 25th, 2019. We have to pass.
Necessary.
And I want to believe what I'm about to say in hindsight is going to be true in that maybe that unit had to flood so we had some mercy from everybody. Maybe that unit had to flood so we had mercy from the fire department. Maybe that flood had to happen because the plumbers were just like, wow, we feel so horrible that we just about ruined these guys' literal lives. We got to do whatever it takes to get it done by the 25th.
No, yeah. I think the only thing else that could help us is if we had our best friend Nick Renard, because he's so tiny. He could just go in the cracks. He could go through the walls in the
check all the
outlets and
check.
just sneak through there. Go in the water pipes. He is that
guy. He's done with his project.
So why isn't he out here? Fly out.
Exactly. What, Nick? When you listen to this tomorrow, Monday, what is it? Will it be November 18th, 2019?
Just get a flight.
What are you waiting for?
There's a 6-page list. Just stand here and just yell at people.
And you told us in a text, you're so flush with cash now because of this last project. You better why not just give whatever you were had to give to the government. Let's say it was 25%. Just give it to us.
That's how it works. So let's just transition and do Nick's reads right now.
Hello, best friends. I hope you all had a great week this week. A reading. Knowledge is a powerful tool. It is the master of your tools. It is where your tools come from. Because without knowledge, there is nothing. Let's take that one step further. Knowledge is the ultimate weapon. It trumps all other weapons. Thought is what wins. The mind is what wins. Knowledge is what wins. And you gain knowledge by asking questions. Which questions should you ask? Simple. Question everything. Don't accept anything as truth. Question it all. When you don't understand a word, get out the dictionary. When you don't understand a concept, break it down until you do. When you don't know how something works, dig into it until you do. Ask every question that comes to mind. That is how you learn. And most important, question yourself. Question yourself every day. Ask yourself, who am I? What have I learned? What have I created? What forward progress have I made? Who have I helped? What am I doing to improve myself today? To get better, faster, stronger, healthier, smarter. Is this what I want to be? This? Is this all I've got? Is this everything I can give? Is this going to be my life? Do I accept that? Ask yourself those questions, those hard questions, and then answer them truthfully. And realize that all of us can do better. We can be better. And it starts when you begin to ask those questions. So ask the hard questions of yourself and find the path to progress and discipline and to freedom inside the answers. Cayko. Lance. Nice road.
Oh. Does that give any insight into the questions you were asking yourself? I'm hitting you on the spot here.
Well, what I was going to say is that this is my 63rd day in a row working minus one sick day.
I like that you always had the sick day, because if you didn't, I would add it in.
Well, I just hate that I got sick that day. You know what I mean? I'm like, oh, come on. Come on. This could have been part of the book. This could have been part of the book. Like, what am I going to title the chapter? 63 days in a row minus one sick day.
Yes. That's
stupid.
Yeah.
But by the time
the total be like 75.
75. It'll be something 70s. It'll be
Yeah.
something 70s. It'll be some stupid amount.
Yeah.
Which I was telling my wife last night, like, I hope I don't hurt myself. Like, that's my honest biggest fear.
In which way?
Just, like, am I going to get us just fall? Just
I
fall
thought
over.
about the same thing. Exactly.
Yeah, like, it scares me.
Yeah.
I scare myself. I'm to the point where it's just like, this is a lot. You have really been hurting yourself. Like, you've been killing yourself, Lance.
Yeah. Should I be lifting 100 pounds into that dumpster right now? Like,
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, there's no other way to get it in.
It feels like sacrifice. It feels like construction martyrism. So what I was getting at was on my 63rd day in a row working.
Minus one.
Minus one. What a good joke. What a good fucking joke.
Can you title it my 75th day in a row, and then in parentheses minus one Al Gore said
We gotta
that.
make shirts. 73 day club minus one.
Minus
day in a row.
Yeah.
Do I want to put myself in this position again and
No.
be working
Nope.
this much? God. It would have been a little sweeter. I would say yes if we wouldn't have had this catastrophic flood, because there's a pretty big paycheck at the end. A paycheck it's not as big as we wanted initially. Obviously, you always shoot for like a 10 and maybe you get to a 7 of whatever game you're playing. But it's more money than we've ever made in one calendar year on all kinds of levels.
But I'll tell you, the way our architecture firm has been going, I question if we would have just focused on that and not gone through all of this, I'm sure we would have been just as happier. And not spent, because all that architecture money we spent on this. I don't know yet, but just like...
Yeah, but then I layer... I think of that too, but then I layer on top, well, we did essentially launch a contracting firm at the same time. We did go through the process, and we have the background now.
But relating to Nick, the knowledge, like... What if I'm on a site, especially if I'm doing multiple units or $1 million house or something, they're not using threaded connections. You're not doing that.
Yeah.
Stop right now. Oh, blah blah blah. We don't worry. This is fine. This is approved. I don't care. I don't care.
How about this? You have talked about this a couple times on the site since you've finally been out here. Every day.
This is my first
for
day.
the last 2 months probably. Probably 2 months. You've been on site nonstop with me.
Yeah. I told my wife it's only been 2 weeks, and she's like, no, it has not.
No.
You don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Is the intersection of everybody. So, like, hey, drywaller, aren't you supposed to do that? No, painter said he's supposed to do it. Painter's, no, drywall's supposed to do it. Like, nailing that down from the beginning with everybody's contract. The starting and the stopping points. Knowing all the miscellaneous crap where we're like, what, we need that? Well, nobody said that.
Yeah.
Why didn't they say that? You're supposed to do that. Nope, he's supposed to do that. I mean, and what's weird is how it all flushed out at the end. Probably the last month and a half, 6 weeks since I've been on site, like where that's all just hammered out. We're like, what?
We need a knockbox? No one told me about that.
No one said that in site. You guys are so worried about fonts. Why aren't you talking about knockboxes?
Yeah.
I mean, that's a legitimate complaint to the planning and zoning department. Like, you need to tell developers that they. If quit worrying about the fonts and the line weights, you idiot.
Yeah.
Tell us about the knockbox. Tell us about the thing that comes out of the building. Tell us about who's supposed to. What was the big fight we had with Siamese crap?
Yeah.
Who's supposed to do that fitting, right?
Yep.
The backflow that we're supposed to have a third party check the backflow preventers. Like, what? Come on, planning and zoning. What are you doing?
I think you're now hitting it on the head too. Is like
trees,
trees, shrubs, but man,
setbacks.
This is what's weird. Now we know. I was gonna say, how are we supposed to know? Now we know. Oh, backflow preventer and the test on it has to do with plumbing. Plumbing, like it's in their realm. This has to get done for CO. Like, I don't know how we stated it, but like, oh yeah, you're going to do all plumbing so that we can get COs. Like, even if that was in our contract or whatever. Now the new question is like, are you doing the back? This is a small item, the backflow preventer, because it worked out. And, we were trying to get one, and they kept saying next week, and then this happened.
Did you pay them, by the way? Do I need to call them?
No, they said that they were going to send us a bill.
Yeah, I just need to call them and pay them.
Okay. So, but that's one of 500. You know what I mean?
No joke.
That's one of 500.
500.
Yeah.
You know what Alice said was really funny to me was so like this is why I brought up the five points of whatever denial and isolation. So I think we were in denial the first day.
Oh yeah, you only talked to me about this, but the 5 stages of grief Lance is talking about.
Yeah, denial and isolation is number 1, and that was obviously the first day where we're just like, I can't believe this happened, and then you crack jokes, and one of the things he said to me is he's like, how do buildings even stay together? I'm like, I don't know. I don't know, because that's crazy. I mean, what it was it was a fitting underneath a master vanity. Just imagine that sink and it comes off. Imagine that comes off in your house. You're on vacation. Maybe you're in Mexico. But Lance isn't going to Mexico because he has to work, and his family's going to Mexico. The answer to your question, Nick, is like, well, I don't know how they stay together. That is the amount of moving parts. I've always like kind of laughed at other architects when they're so worried about their specs and they're so worried about like every little detail, and I'm like, it's gonna be fine, man. It's gonna be fine. I built all kinds of buildings, designed hundreds of houses. It's all gonna be fine. It's gonna be fine. Wow, one thing literally almost ruined everything.
Yep.
To the point where like panic attacks, panic can't breathe attacks, insane stuff.
Well, I started getting this thought when we were trying to get the furnaces to work, and I'm going up and down. I'm grabbing a plumber because he kind of knows what he's doing, because it's freezing and the painters need to paint and there's no heat and the HVAC people aren't coming out to start them up, and Excel is on my butt because I won't even get into Excel Energy and how much they are just nonsense going on. But then finally we get it on. I know how furnaces work. I've seen furnaces, right? But in this different light, in this different context where there's 8 of these, right? And there's all these moving parts, and you know how squirrely some of these subcontractors, the workers are, right? And I'm not even saying, I'm just saying like there's a million pieces, and the furnace finally goes on, and fire is shooting straight in front of me from a gas line. And I go, oh, this is what we're doing? We're lighting things on fire in this building that I've been here this whole time? What are we doing? And I understand that that's how it's done. It makes sense. But I'm like, wait, so we just have like fittings everywhere and we're nailing through things.
That's what I'm saying.
We have gas everywhere.
Correct.
And we have fire everywhere.
Yep.
What? And I'm on this, hopefully this client will do, we talked about a concrete house and an exposed conduit and all this stuff. I'm like, oh, I don't want to build buildings like this. I only want to build like exposed, hardy, like none of this hidden.
Do you see
stuff.
what I'm saying? There's got to be a lesson here. So like I know
we're only doing concrete.
I know we're only doing concrete, wood, and steel. That's
Yep.
it. Everything exposed.
Concrete, wood, and steels. Exposed HVAC, electrical.
One sub is doing MENP.
Yep. Stone. The sun is going to heat it.
We're telling them it's going to take 2 years to get their house done. They're going to accept that. 20% contractor fee. Deal with it. Deal with it.
Concrete. I want to name, even though we already named our firm, like I want to name it something like sand, dirt, and snow. Like that's what I want a company to be named.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to something else because holy heck, that was just a lot. We have some listener. We have a listener.
What? We're talking to you.
Actually, we have quite a bit of listeners, but
I don't think we're supposed to name the name.
Okay, don't name the name. But
you know who you are.
Yep, you know who you are. We had some questions come in. So he says, please let me know if you could help with a few questions. Number 1, I'm thinking of opening my own business sooner than later and offering construction consulting services, drafting services, design services that don't require stamps, rendering, sketches, etc. Do you think I should get my side gig game on ASAP? I like how he said that. What advice would you give a balancing a side gig with a full-time construction management job? Al.
Awesome question. Yes, I think you should get started ASAP.
Always do a side gig.
Always do a side gig. Second, set up a separate bank account and go to your Dora. It's called Dora, right?
Yeah.
And register it.
Well, with us, it's Dora. It's got to be everywhere else, though. Department of Regulatory Association or something like that.
Something like that.
Department of Regulatory Associations or whatever.
You got Google. You'll figure it out. Register with the state. Okay? Separate bank account. Doesn't go into your bank account.
Yeah, make an LLC is what he's saying.
Yep. And so like, yes, do all that and do it the right way because that's going to pay off later when you have it separated and you see that you have a business. And how to balance it. People are either an early person or a night person. Whatever you are, maybe your kids go to sleep at 8:30 and your wife goes to sleep at 9 and she just doesn't care about you anymore so that you can work from 9 to 11 and that's what you do. Fine. Do it that way. Or do it in the morning from 5 to 7. Whatever you got to do.
I would do it in the morning. I mean,
Yeah.
that's when you get most stuff done.
But do it in that time, and then talk to your partner, and then maybe you're gonna do it on Saturdays too or Sundays from noon to 4. But like establish a time with you and your partner, and then try to make that. Don't let it take over your whole life until you get in a project like this and you're just screwed.
Basically, you're
because you will get in a project like this and you will be screwed, and then your wife will understand.
Yeah.
But during those other times, you make it a second job, like you're actually going to it.
Yep. You're not an entrepreneur if you're not taking a risk like we took.
Yeah.
I guess that would be the cocky thing I'd say today. Good advice, Al. Yeah. So don't do it. Don't do what you're doing between, I would say 5:30 and 10 or 5:30 and 9. Like you need to. Let's say you have kids. You got to have dinner with your kids and wife. You have to.
Yep.
You gotta. What I do is I like the only sense of balance I've had in the last 63 days is I go home, I have dinner with the family, and then I read to my kids. One kid I'm reading the Bible to, and the other kid I'm reading Jordan Peterson, and like that's what I'm doing. And then I do drop them off and pick them up from school, and stay on top of their grades.
Yeah.
So you got to do those basic things at least. Supposed to go to Mexico, not going to Mexico. Okay, number 2. I want to learn Revit the best way, so I need to ask if there's a student price for Revit rocket ship. I want to gift it to myself for Christmas, but I'm hoping there's a deal for people in school. Please let me know.
There is for Revit rocket ship. It's not. It's like a Whataburger when you have like a secret menu, and you know it's not on the menu. You just got to know
about this secret menu.
On what. Who are you?
I don't even know what Whataburger is. What is Whataburger?
Oh, it's like the Texas Five Guys, but they put like Texas toast on. I don't know. I had it. It was okay.
Don't mess with
hey,
Texas. That's all I know.
What a burger? You're okay. Settle down, right? Settle down.
You're no Freddy's.
You are no Freddy's. You are no Freddy's.
Those
Watch yourself.
fries?
What? Oh, so good. So I forgot. What was the question? What are we talking about?
Is there a student version?
Oh, yes. So you email me, and I will give you a link to a discount. The only problem is I am slightly inundated with 6 pages of stuff to do for a week. So, yes, I will give it to you. Just please remind me.
Just email him.
Email me, akg@f9productions.com. Email anyone else. Anyone else, please email me.
If you're a student.
If you're a student, from your student email, I will give you a discount. It's at least 25%. But just please hold on and remind me. You can remind me and hassle me. Like, after December 2nd / 5th, then I have no excuse. But it's just slightly crazy right now.
Number 3, I hear you guys mention franchising now and then. Being a part of an F9 Productions New England team definitely sounds like an interesting, attractive dream / future possibility. Would you guys branch out nationwide? I think you guys have an awesome system set up with the tutorials and just how you guys explain your businesses on each episode. If you find yourselves looking for at the New England area, keep me in mind as a resource / best friend.
What I like about him is that he has construction experience. So all of this is like, it's so funny. There's a couple of people I've told this story to. And you know, one guy from Home Depot, another guy, and they both said, yeah, when I was a contractor, and they have like something semi-similar. And it's all these guys that are 50s, 60s, but they're not contractors anymore. And I'm like, why aren't you a contractor anymore? Like in my head. And then I realized why, because of all this craziness.
All this craziness.
But I think any branch out, like I wonder, we are slowly expanding, even in Colorado. But I feel like to truly know someone, you have to work with them tightly.
For a long time. Honestly, there's only one person right now in the firm that I think is a good candidate to run a new office. And that's just because of who they are. It's just because of like what I've seen. It's just because of how everything has unfolded this last year, and the longevity of how long we've been here.
Yep. And this is why I'm so adamant about it also is we had one of our best students who we wanted to partner with. And then, a like 3 years after he graduated. So he got some experience. So we're like, this is awesome. We're going to partner with the guy. He was a great student. He became a great TA. And he went crazy. Like he literally like went crazy.
I knew he went crazy months before Al knew he went crazy, but Al likes to gives people the benefit of the doubt, and yeah, absolutely crazy. It's like blew my mind actually.
Yeah, and not just like oh, I'll tell you Lance is crazy sometimes. Like
he is.
Lance is crazy. Blah blah blah.
Yeah,
not like that. Like legitimately.
Legitimately. Yeah. All right,
Oh.
number 4. Oh, so would we do it? Yeah, I think if you were with us for a long time, maybe 3-4 years, like
I'd take a year. Take a year and a hard project. You get one project, hard project. You see what happens.
That maybe there's sales.
Lance is crazy. What does he know?
There you go. Number 4. What do you think of my plan as briefly described above? Does it seem solid? I guess I'm just looking for some reassurance that the following my dream along with a plan, determination, and discipline will be better than just grinding as a construction paper pusher forever and giving up on my dream as a designer.
So you only have one life. You only have one life, and if you compartmentalize it in the beginning, I think you'll be able to get some solid footing. And know that solid footing for some people it takes a long time. Like this podcast is 60, I don't even know how many episodes. I have no idea.
137.
There we go. 137, it probably really gained, after probably 80, So you have to hit your dreams because there's so many people and ideas out there that you'll have a conversation with a friend at a bar or whatever and say, hey, wouldn't it be better if this happened? And they'll be like, yeah, it would be better. And there's millions of those ideas and people are not doing those.
Yeah.
So you have this idea, so you should do it.
I think you should take as many calculated risks as possible before you turn 40. Because if one of them goes really sour, you have enough time in your life to recover.
Knock on wood.
Knock on wood. That's where we're at right now, is the biggest risk ever. So, okay, with that, Al, you got any closing words? We're at like 50 minutes, I think.
Oh,
this
awesome.
is way longer than I thought it was going to be.
I can't wait to see Nick on the job site here Monday, Tuesday.
Oh, Tuesday's coming up.
It's going to be great.
Because he's going to hear this Monday, and then he's like, man,
I don't got kids and a wife and a job and two jobs.
Yep.
Coming up to scuttlebutt around.
All kinds of money.
All I have is, hey, if you enjoyed this, if you are looking in to get Revit, go to revitrocketship.com. It's our training that we train not only students, not only our staffs, but other professionals with. And if you're a student, email me at akg@f9productions.com. You get at least a 25% discount. It's really worth its money because it kind of catapults you into Revit, but also gives you the template that we use in our firm to really hammer things down. And it's just worked really wonders for us. So that's all I have, Lance.
Keep your chin up. Don't go chasing waterfalls. Leave us a 5-star review. If you're thinking about a 3-star review, just put 5 stars right on top of that. It helps our rankings in iTunes. Don't forget to pick up. If you do that, then you can pick up your free copy of the Creativity Code by Alex Gore and yours truly. Let us know. Talk to you next week.